This is an example of a Nexus battle. I've indicated positions 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the stack using the counters. In this case, both players have 2 warriors each on their battlefield with which to do battle. They were summoned on prior turns. At the start of this turn, player 1 is going to choose to attack with their skeleton. Player 2 is going to respond with an ogre. Player 1 is then going to put the giant on the stack, and player 2 is going to put the volunteer on the stack at the top. All these cards have been turned sideways to indicate that they are in attack position as opposed to being summoned. They're all known as attacking, even though you don't know exactly what they're going to do until they pop. In fact, you do not need to determine what their action will be until they actually do pop. So, if there were to be a pop action at this point, the volunteer would be known as the offense. As the offense, you can determine what your warriors are going to attack. I could have this volunteer attack me as the player directly for 1 damage. He could attack the giant for 1 damage, or he could attack the skeleton for 1 damage. Note that he can attack any position in the stack that's lower than he is, as long as it's on the opposing team. In this case, we're going to have the volunteer attack the giant, so these 2 cards are going to clash. The outcome of that would be that the volunteer dies, but the giant does get knocked out of the queue and goes back to the battlefield in the tapped position until that player chooses to refresh. At this point, a second pop action would need to occur for these 2 cards to clash. We're going to assume a pop action does occur, which again determines that the ogre is on the offense. Okay, the ogre is going to attack the skeleton rather than the player, so that makes the skeleton be on the defense. So when these 2 clash, the ogre kills the skeleton dies, and the ogre goes back to the battlefield tapped until that player chooses to refresh.